Hi, I'm Cheyanne Sauter. I'm the Executive Director of ArtShare Los Angeles. We're located in the middle of the Arts District, so watching art evolve, it's really happening at a pulse right outside my front door. ArtShare purchased the building about 20 years ago when the Arts District wasn't a relevant term. And we developed the space to be a creative, open environment for artists to come and explore. For years, we focused on after school programming, youth programming, giving them access to art. But when I came on board about 5 or 6 years ago, I noticed that the art scene was changing and that Los Angeles was attracting so many new, vibrant people to our space because there were no rules. We're kind of this like loose society where anything goes. And so I wanted ArtShare to be a relevant conversation in that. And I also noticed in talking to a lot of artists that were losing space in the Arts District because of gentrification, that they always had a home and they had somewhere that they felt comfortable. The amount of walls was being reduced as well that artists had access to. And what I mean by that is just white wall gallery space. Galleries were kind of closing or shifting to more commercially focused or higher end artists, more internationally focused. And I think as Los Angeles became, again, this kind of internationally focused art haven, the white walls were just disappearing for a lot of artists who lived here and were trying to make it in the art world. So I really used ArtShare in the building that we have as a place for artists to share their work, and we do that. 200 artists a year come through our main gallery. We affect another 100 artists in our perimeter gallery, which is a smaller kind of solo exhibit that we have in the space. And even that wasn't enough white walls, so then I started talking to businesses and getting artwork outside of ArtShare. So we partner with a lot of businesses, coffee shops, breweries, to get emerging artists' work up. Where I'm coming from is I'm focusing on emerging artists, the ones who just graduated from high school, just graduated from college, and really just want to figure out if art is a viable career for them. And so, some of them it just doesn't work, and they try their trade and they come to ArtShare and they realize that it's harder than they thought. They can't work paycheck to pay. They can't work in that gig economy. So then they leave us and they become an accountant or go get a job that's going to be sustainable for them. But we really became that trial ground for people. So my perspective and what I get to see is just really that the drive and the heart at the beginning of an artist's career, if it's going to work or if it's not going to work.
So, and now tell us everything ArtShare does, because you do performances, you're housing people, you provide studio space.
Okay. So ArtShare is really there as a support system for artists, and we do that in a variety of different ways. Our building's huge. It's 2 stories. On the top floor, second floor, it's 14,000 square feet, and we have 30 apartments. They're all low-income artist housing. It's regulated by the county of LA, and they stipulate what salary requirement you can have in order to move into that space. So it's low-income housing, and we focus on artists because of the space that they live in. It's very gritty. It's loft-esque. And so you can kind of get it messy and dirty, and so it really attracts the spirit of the artist. And then on the bottom floor, again, 14,000 square feet has been divided into this really beautiful maze of programming. So we have classroom space, we have art studio spaces, a really robust theater program, we have a beautiful stage with lighting, and then our main gallery and perimeter gallery. And so really my focus as the director of ArtShare is to make that space available and accessible for artists. I'm not an artist myself. Sorry, I touched the mic. I'm not an artist myself, but what so when people enter the space, they're not clouded or obstructed by my vision and my view of what I think is artful. They can really just get into the space and get into the nitty gritty. So we do support artists kind of from that beginning to the end. Housing, we give them resources. We're right next to the DPSS social services office there, so food is accessible, workspace. And our goal is to either get them graduated to go find a job that's going to be viable for them, or get them into that creative economy so that they could be a viable player in the art world. We're seeing that everybody is looking for that Instagrammable moment, and how their profile looks on the pink wall, or how their shadow looks up against the myriad of hearts on the wall. I think we have to be careful, especially in the art world, that we don't make art so accessible that it has to be in every single day. I think the beauty about art is that it's a translation of what we're seeing, and it's not internal to what we see. So making it an everyday occurrence, I think, is almost going to be to detriment for studio artists. But I think what we can do as art administrators and gallery curators is to use Instagram as a ploy to get people in. Put up the huge picture that you can stick your head through, or beautiful wings that Colette Miller does, and attract people to it. Have them take their sweet picture, and then get them inside and show them an experience. But I don't think we're going to be leaning on that for long. Look how fast things are moving right now. And just when something's super cool and we all learn all about it, kids that are 20 years younger than me are telling me, no, Cheyanne, don't dab anymore. That's just not cool. So we just have to kind of stay on top of it, but not get lost in it. So use it to our benefit to attract people, and then teach them, show them really amazing contemporary art, and show them the spirit of what you're doing. I think, reflecting on the thought that things are moving so fast, technology is definitely moving the art world into a new place. I think it's going to be interesting to see where the art world goes. I think art galleries, nonprofits, nonprofit art galleries, nonprofit support groups for artists, I think we're going to play an incredibly important role, increasingly so, because everything is so refined once it hits the internet, and everything's so polished and perfect, but there's still a process happening. And I think that's where arts organizations really can find that home. We are there for the dirt. We're there for the process. We're there for the play that doesn't hit, or the poet that doesn't know how to rhyme. We're there for those people so that they can kind of figure it out and incubate those thoughts and those ideas. So we're still relevant, but we just have to keep up and stay nimble, because the world is moving at a really fast rate.
Okay, now this is a personal thing, and it doesn't have to end up in the final video.
Yeah.
But would you encourage your kids to be art majors in college?
Yeah. Yeah.
We ought to talk about it. It's kind of a cute thought.
Yeah. I don't think I would discourage. I don't have kids. It didn't work for me. So I get to go on fabulous trips, which is great. But I have a lot of nephews and nieces. And I would encourage them to study art. But it's just like saying, when I was like, I want to work for nonprofits forever. My dad could have said, are you kidding me? You're going to make a third of what everyone else makes. But it's like my passion and where I want it, where I need to be. But I think you should not study one thing, and I think schools are getting too narrow with the focuses. When I went to school, it was like sociology, humanities, there were 7, 12 degrees. And I went to a really progressive school, so I got to make my own degree. It was global sociology, very fancy. But really, what's happening now is like you can get a nonprofit management degree, which didn't exist when I went to college just 15 years ago. And you can get nonprofit management in international studies or in women's studies. So then when you start applying for jobs, you are only good for one thing. And I think we're creating this specialized society, which is causing this entrepreneurial society, because people are going into the job market going, well, I don't want to be a secretary for someone who's at a nonprofit for women's studies. I want to be what she does. Well, just wait 10 fucking years, because we all had to wait for 10 fucking years and work our way up. And if you're patient, I'll teach you everything that I've learned. But no, people just want to start their own damn thing. I can't tell you how many kids are coming up to me now, and and they'll say, oh, I just started this, art blog, and it's going to be amazing, and I'm going to have. It'll turn into a print magazine, and then I'm going to get a brick and mortar gallery and show those. And so they've already created this business plan. Well, guess what? ArtShare is already that. So why don't you just come work for ArtShare, bring your thoughts and your ideas into this company, and invest. Invest on the future of a holistic society versus this entrepreneurial me thing. And I think schools, I hadn't connected that, but I think schools are becoming the cause of that entrepreneurial spirit, because becoming so focused, and then kids aren't finding their own jobs, so they're making their own job, and then they're making it harder for me to find, like, I don't know, if I want a new ring, I can't just go into a damn store anymore and get a ring. I have to research Etsy. Then I have to go onto Instagram and look up hashtags. And then, and I just want a damn ring with the pearl on it. Like, is it that simple? So we've become so diverse and so individualized that it's really hard to find anything anymore. So I think looking at it from an artist perspective, and again, I'm not an artist, but I think if I were an artist in today's age, I would be extremely overwhelmed and extremely discouraged. I feel like there are so many different avenues an artist can take, and they never know which one is gonna get them to the end goal of winning, of becoming a successful artist. And even the definition of a successful artist has shifted so dramatically. Does success mean you have a gallery representing you? Does it mean you have work in a museum? Does it mean you got a $50,000 mural commission? It's being redefined all the time, and so it can be seen as exciting, or it can be seen as overwhelming. I think a young artist coming up, there are a lot of opportunities where you can go into a gallery and pay them to have your work shown. And that's a great way to get your work on a wall and kind of get your feet wet. There are also other opportunities where you can pay to go to like a weekend seminar on how to become an artist and how to make sure social media is a part of your vocabulary and how to build your website and kind of the 1-2s of becoming an artist in LA. And then you have the art fairs, and you can either go on your own, and so people are willing to take your money and put you next to, in a booth next to another amazing emerging or up-and-coming artist. Or you can send proposal after proposal to galleries and network and get out there and hopefully meet someone who has a minute to look at your work and then stars have to align that they're actually working on a show that has something to do with your themed work, and maybe hopefully, collision happens and ta-da, you have a beautiful, you're in a small group show. So I think what I'm seeing is just the overwhelming opportunity. And for me, as a non-artist, that's overwhelming for me. For an artist, I think that's exciting. I think that they, if you have the drive and you have the grit to move through those avenues and make those connections, you can really succeed in a lot of ways. And and it's truly amazing. And I think if I have any advice to an artist, it's keep going and try all of them. Just try all of them. It's exhausting. You're working your ass off. And I honor everything you do. I think artists are the most amazing creatures on earth because I have ideas, I have visions, but I would never draw them on a canvas and then show someone. And I think someone who has that courage, that's so impassioned to create something, and has the courage and the drive to show someone, that to me, that jump means you're an artist and that you already have the drive and the grit you need to make it. So try all of those opportunities. But if you get overwhelmed, come to ArtShare and I will sit down with you and give you a hug and a cup of coffee and we can chat about it.